Excuse my voice. I'm getting over the dreaded Auntie Roro. We need her to go, but she's still here. So hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. And this week we're going to be talking about a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And it is, when should you start talking about your book? And this is in reference to marketing your book, advertising your book. It's something that a lot of authors are unsure of. What exactly am I supposed to be doing when I need to be telling people about my book? Is it too early to tell them when I first start writing? Is it too late to tell them after the book is out? And so I'll be giving you some tips and strategies to help you out with that. And also, we'll be sharing a new item that I'm working on for you to be able to give you ongoing marketing to help you out with your book, because it can be really easy to get confused about what exactly marketing is, and also strategies that you can use to be able to sell regardless of if your book just came out or if it's been out for years. So, I am Ashley and I'm the owner of Shop Publishing, and we help authors get from the page to the people with efficient and effective marketing strategies. So today we're going to be talking about, when should you start letting people know about your book. And this, like I said, is something that's near and dear to my heart. And this question came up because I did a true false question in a couple of Facebook groups, including my own. If you're not a member of the Sell More Books Facebook group, definitely check the link in the description of this video, if you're watching on YouTube, and you can join there. Or if you're over on Facebook, you can just type in Sell More Books and you'll be able to find it there. But the question was, true or false? You should wait until your book is done to start talking about it. And one of the groups that I asked this question in, has over like 80,000 members, and it's called Black Women Write, or Black Girls Write. And so we had a lot of good conversations with that, and then also just on my main page. And so I was excited to see that most people said false, that they are not going to start waiting, or they're not going to wait until their book is out to start telling people about it. And I'll tell you why that is the better choice if you are focused on making money from your books, and also reaching people and having impact, because of course it's not always about money, but in order to impact people you need to be able to sell books. And then I'll also talk about, for those folks that said true, some of the reasons why they said they want to wait until their book is done before letting people know about it. And so we'll start there. So, for some of the most common reasons about why people were waiting, it was because, a very overwhelming one actually, was worrying about haters or doubters or naysayers or people depositing things in your spirit during the writing process. Now, that is a real fear for some authors, and that is really something you should be mindful of, but don't let it control you. um, One woman in particular, she actually, it was more than one woman, she was sharing, they both shared the same thing of, well, I told somebody about my book and then they crushed my dreams. Or I told somebody about my book and they said, well, that's not a good idea. And so then I got blocked. I got blocked and I couldn't finish writing it. Now, we really want to think about, okay, we have to share things with people who are good soil, and share with people who are like-minded and who are going to pour into us, and also who are not going to be deterrents to our dreams. And so if you know somebody is a negative person, or you know that there's a possibility that they're going to be apprehensive about what you're doing, then of course don't share with them. Like, don't pick people who you wouldn't share regular stuff with them to share something that's as big as a book. Um, Seek people who are good ground and good soil, who are wise counsel, and that could look like a fellow author group. It could look like a biz bestie, something like that. Share with those people. And when you're sharing, that doesn't mean that you're telling them every single detail about your book. It doesn't mean you're going to give them your outline. It doesn't mean you're sharing any of your deep, dark secrets about the book. It just means that you are letting folks know, okay, I have something that's coming out. And it also works as a way of like some accountability of like, okay, once I've told people I've started writing this thing, then I actually have to finish writing the thing. And that was something that someone brought up as well, is that once they told people they were writing the book, then they froze. And that can happen too. And so if you know that you are that kind of person, then of course you want to be mindful of that and share later on down the line. And I'll talk about different ways to do that. But so I'm going to go back to the haters for a sec. If you know you have people in your life that are going to be sipping on that haterade, or who are going to be um, blocking your blessings, or not blocking your blessings, because people can't block your blessings. But if you know that you have people who are not going to be supportive, of course, don't share with those folks. But then also understand that those people were probably not going to buy your book anyway. So really spending time invested in whatever they have to say or whatever kind of things they're trying to do is not going to be a good use of your time anyway, because those people were likely not going to be what I like to call raving fans, meaning people who will recommend your book for you, or people who are going to be like your ride or dies, or people who are going to be like, yeah, okay, you need to read this book, or leave your reviews willingly, share the word, things like that. And so if that's a topic you are interested in digging in deeper, the raving fan aspect of people who share your book for you, I'm actually hosting a summer sales series of masterclasses. And so it'll be over the next couple weeks, and there'll be a set of 4 classes. If you are wherever you're watching this, and I'll put the different topics for the classes in the description. But the one of the first ones is creating raving fans. So how to get book buyers who will gladly recommend and advertise your book for you. And one of the other topics for the second class is waking up to sales, how to get found on the world's largest bookstore using categories, keywords, and using those the right way in order to create a fire and streamlined description. And that's going to be a great class for introverts, because I often get authors who are like, "Well, I don't always want to be like, buy my book, buy my book." And so there's ways to get sales without feeling like you need to. About to make a reference, like at the barbershop, but you got your trench coat open. Oh, I got this book, got CDs, got DVDs, that kind of stuff, or got books in the back of your trunk. And not that you shouldn't have books in your trunk, but there are ways to sell your book in addition to that, so you're not feeling like you're hustling all the time. So that's class number 2. And then class 3 is book marketing basics. And this is going to be an overview of basic strategies to boost book sales when you don't have a ton of time. So if you're working a 9 to 5, or if you have multiple books and you need to decide how to kind of spread your time, or decide what to, I don't know what the other word was that I was saying, spread, distribute your time across your books, or just in general if you have a busy life. And if you're scared to market, we're going to talk about that in that class too. And then the last class topic is going to be a wild card. I'm letting you all pick, you all meaning my audience, my followers. So if there's a topic that you are interested in about book marketing that you would like for me to discuss, then you can add that in a comment in this video, or you can shoot me an email, and I'll be glad to add it to the pot. And whoever gives the best suggestion is going to get a class for free. And so the classes, at the time of this recording, it'll be $99 per class, or you can get all 4 classes for $300. All right, back to our topic. Thank you for my little infomercial, listening to my infomercial. Back to the main topic. When should you start talking about your book? And so going back to the true false. So of course, false, you should not wait until your book is finished to start telling people about it. However, I do want to address some of the other concerns that people have who are worried about sharing too early. So another concern that was mentioned is the intellectual property aspect, sharing too much of your book, copyrights, things like that. And so, yes, you do want to be mindful of what you're sharing. Obviously, you don't want to place your entire manuscript out on the internet in general, but before you have your copyright, you wouldn't want to share it with an ARC reader or a beta reader. You want to have that copyright protection. Of course, you are given, or not of course, but at the time of writing, you are given some copyright protections, but if you're in the US, having your actual copyright application at least started before you're sharing with editors, or before you're sharing with your potential beta readers, is always a great idea. And then also, like I said, be mindful not to share too much. So there's certain ways to share. So you could simply say, I'm writing a book about XYZ. That's not going to be something that someone's going to be able to come and steal. point blank period. However, it is something that's going to help your marketing journey because people are going to be able to get excited about what you're reading. They're going to be able to support you. They're going to be able to share that. And then things like, oh, just got my second draft back from the editor, or I'm going over these edits and they're giving me the business because I don't like editing. Those are all different things you can share on your author journey as opposed to sharing your actual book. Now, there are certain times and places where you should share your book, like quotes or chapter titles, because those can be things that drive up interest. However, if you're like, I don't know about sharing, then sharing things about your book instead of the actual book is always a safe bet. Then another point that was brought up of why folks don't want to share their book or share that they're writing a book before it's done is they are concerned about not finishing it. Now, point blank period, if you're not going to finish your book, then obviously you don't want to share your book. Because we're not scammers. We're not trying to scam people. So we're not trying to let people know, oh, I'm going to write a book, and then you never write the book. Now, there are things that happen. There are roadblocks. Sometimes books take time. Sometimes you end up working on another project. My first two books, I started writing one book, and then God said, oh, let's come over here, and then wrote a different book. And that happens. However, if you are concerned about how that might affect like your credibility or affect like people believing you, then once again, that's even more reason to me to share the process. Because if you're sharing the process and people see, oh, she's been writing, or he or whoever has been writing this book, then they're gonna say, oh, okay, you're writing another book. Like they'll be able to follow your journey. And I kind of liken it to like telenovelas or like telenovelas, let me say it with accent, or soap operas or storylines of shows. One show that my husband and I watch is All American, and there's like four sets of like couples essentially that are all doing different things, but we're still able to follow those sets because we can see, okay, well, these people are talking about that, these people are talking about that. So people are multidimensional. They can understand that different things are happening at the same time. And so if it were to be that something happened in your life and you're like, okay, well, I got to pause because of XYZ, people are forgiving and understanding. And then that way you've at least planted a seed when you are ready for that book to come out, as opposed to, oh, I'm popping up pregnant with a book. Oh, here's my book. Bam, boom, buy the book. It takes people time to become familiar with what you're doing and also and also for them to give you money for what you're doing. So bringing them along with the process is always a good idea. So those are a few reasons why people said that they did want to wait until their book was done to talk about it. And now I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't, even though I've already kind of gone over that. So one of the biggest reasons to not wait until your book is done to start telling people about it, meaning to start your marketing process once you start writing your book or along the way, maybe if you're not wanting to start it that early, is because it's an easy way to market your book. Simply sharing what you're doing. Right now, at the time of this recording, we're in a very content heavy world where people are very big into watching what people are doing, looking at like what's called B-roll or behind the scenes clips of what people are doing. And so you sharing your book writing process does a couple things. It validates that you are an authority in the space that you're writing in, because writing a book is not something everybody does. I know as business owners and entrepreneurs, it can seem like, oh, everybody got a book. Everybody's got a book. Everybody doesn't have a book. There are billions of people in the world. Everybody does not have a book. The majority of them don't have a book. And the majority of, let me see if I'm going to step on toes, but the majority of books that are written, how can I phrase this? Not every book that's written is great. Let me say that. Not every book that's written is carefully thought out. Not every book that's written is strategic in creating a person's in positioning a person in a place of authority in their industry. Let me say that. And so if you are doing the things you need to be doing, following the tips and strategies, getting support and help in doing that, whether it's done for you services, coaching, then you are going to have a book that's above the rest. And obviously, we know that when we're doing that, it's something that's automatically going to help drive sales for our other business or other products and services, as well as promote the actual book. And so it's an excellent opportunity to position yourself as a person of integrity, a person of commitment, and or who's committed, and who is showing that, hey, I know what I'm talking about. And so excellent way to do your marketing, and it's easy to weave into your other marketing efforts as well. The second reason why you want to talk about your book before it's out is because it's an opportunity for pre-sales. Now, y'all know I love pre-sales, and so it's something where if you do it right and you're strategic about it, you can get paid to publish. That's one of the things that I've done that I'm a big proponent of, and I'm working on some additional things to help with that as well. But if you haven't already checked it out, I do have 2 trainings on pre-sales. So one training is to give you an overview if you're someone who's like, I have no idea about anything about pre-sales. I'm completely blind to it. I have a free training on that. And then I also have a training that shows you the steps I took to make 10K in pre-sales for my most recent book launch at the time of this recording. And so both of those are linked in this description. And so definitely check those out if you're kind of like, I don't know about pre-sales. I've done them for each of my books. I've helped dozens of authors complete theirs. And it's something where, as an indie, self-published, independent author, you can get paid to publish. It's not just traditional published authors who have that as a benefit. So doing pre-sales are something that help you to be able to, once again, tie in your marketing together. It makes it so that you're getting a quicker return for your efforts instead of just having to wait until the very end of the process of your long book launch to be able to see those benefits, to be able to have a monetary gain on that. And of course, you'll have other benefits such as getting increased reviews, building awareness, increasing engagement. All of those are part of that book launch process, and you can tap into that with pre-sales as well. And so, once again, the summer sales series of masterclasses is going to talk about marketing options and book marketing basics, as well as how to wake up to sales. So even if you do pre-sales on your book, you can still have some success over on Amazon if that's your goal, to put your book there. And then also create raving fans, who are people who will gladly recommend your book to others. So if you want to join that, then you can scan the QR code that's on the screen or click the link that is in the description. So once again, jumping back to why you should talk about your book before it is published or before it's finished, I want to talk to you about different ways of when, or different times of when you can actually start sharing your book. Now, some of these are going to be a little bit too liberal for some folks, and some of them are going to be too conservative. And you can choose. You don't have to do the same thing for each book. You can totally decide, up to you. I tend to do the first one because it gives more time to let people know about the book. And I don't want to say I'm not a risky person. However, once you know the publishing process, that helps as well, because then you'll know, oh, okay, if I tell people the book is out at this time, I know how much time I have for my pre-sale. I know how much time I have for my book launch. I know how much time I have to get these different publishing steps done, and I can let folks know, okay, my book will be done in this many weeks or this many months. So that way you are able to have a clearer set of expectations, as opposed to just, oh, my book's going to be out sometime. No, if you know how to publish, or you're getting support, such as our done for you publishing services or coaching services, then you can do that, and you have that power. So the first option is to tell people as soon as you start writing. Now for this one, this is the one I do. This is the one I do. I tell people, and when I say people, I don't mean everyone. I let my potential beta readers know after I've done the research to find them, which I'll talk about in the summer sales series of masterclasses for authors, I'll let those potential beta readers know, hey, I have a book that's coming out. I would love for you to be one of the first people to look at it and to check it out. Is that something you're interested in? I'll give them a quick little paragraph about the book and who it's for, because at this point I've already researched who I want to read the book, and so I know who are the people that I want as beta readers, and then that way I can start that process early. This starting it as soon as you start writing the book is great for journals because there's less content in it, and it's not something where you are writing an 80,000 word novel, because it's obviously that's going to take you longer to do. So I would suggest that for shorter books and journals or planners. The next option is to let people know about your book once you finish your first draft. This is helpful if you're like, I kind of need to make sure I actually write the book. And that's totally fine. I'm working on a book right now that I haven't quite shared with anyone yet because I'm waiting for till I finish the first draft. So I've done my outline, and then I'm going to draft it over the next month or so, and then I'll start to reach out to those beta readers to get their feedback and their advice. So that's an option as well. A third option is to wait to tell people until after you have your first or second round of edits. Now, if your book is longer, this is one that I do recommend, because then that way it's a little less pressure. Or if your book is a little bit content heavy, meaning it's like meteor, or the topics, I don't mean meteor like Meteor Man, but like meteor like meats, like it's heavier. And I say waiting until after your edits, because for some books, your book content is going to change. So you might think, okay, this might be my topic, my not my topic, that shouldn't change, but you might think, okay, this is going to be like the crux of my book. But then once you get in edits and your editor is like, this needs to be a separate book, this needs to be something else. Like I've had a client who, she was writing one book and then her title changed 3 different times over the course of the editing, and then what ended up being published was something totally different. And so your topic can change. I retract that. So for some people, they want to wait until after their first or second round of edits before they start sharing with folks, and that's totally fine. But also keep in mind, you can adjust what you share. So you don't have to share the title of the book. You don't have to share what the book's about. You don't have to share any of those things. It's just totally up to you. However, to some degree, I want you to really consider sharing something about the book, because it is a great way to start your marketing. It's a great way to kind of put feelers out there for who might be interested. Now, you might be thinking, okay, what about if my book is already out? Okay, that's cool. So you have a couple different options. If your book is out and you're not seeing the sales that you want to, or you are feeling like you're not really quite reaching your right audience, then you could do a relaunch. And of course, means like you did it again. And I'll go over both sides. So if you did a launch the first time, you didn't really see the results you want, you could do a relaunch, and you can tie it into a special day. My husband likes to make fun of these holidays, like in jest. He's like, there's just so many random holidays that are just made up, like chocolate chip cookie day, or whatever other random holidays. Drawing a blank. And so whatever your book is tied to, there's a random national holiday that your book can be used as a relaunch day. And so that's an option, or choosing a special day to tie it to that's just special to you. So I have done book launches on my birthday. I have done book launches on days that just were convenient, where I thought that people would be able to attend. You could tie it into your an anniversary of something, like the anniversary of an event, or whatever the case may be. But tying it into something that's like a relaunch will help you to be able to build a buzz and build momentum, and it helps people to kind of galvanize around that thing. Now, on the flip side, if you did not market your book in the first place, you just released it. And when I mean released it, meaning like you just put it up on Amazon and told a couple people, and maybe you did a post or two, you still can tap into to the option of having it or having a relaunch essentially, but really it's technically a launch because you never launched it in the first place. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but just doing a post or just putting on Amazon's not launch. That's a release. And so people think, oh, what, I mean, my book's already out. Are people going to know? Well, if you're not getting the sales you want to see and people didn't really comment or people didn't really share or there wasn't really a buzz created around your book, people don't remember. And that sounds bad, but people don't remember your book came out. So use that to your advantage. People are not gonna know it's out anyway. So I'm not saying you need to be like, oh, my book just new and my book is new and it came out. No, you don't have to say that. But folks don't know about it. So it's not like you're hiding something, not intentionally at least, but use that to your advantage and then focus on things like bulk book orders to relaunch. So finding organizations or schools or different initiatives around your town that would be good options to be able to sell bulk book orders and maybe have you come and speak. And that's a great way to relaunch it as well. And then lastly, you can also do what's called a long haul or long game launch, where instead of trying to do all of your launch activities, all of your steps, all your advertising, all your marketing before the book is out, instead you do it over the course of the first year or two that your book, after your book came out. So for some authors, this takes a little bit of the pressure off and it makes it so that it's like, okay, well, I mean, I spent all that time publishing. Now I can really focus on the marketing of the book over the next 6 months to a year, even up to 2 years if you feel like that's something that you need to do. So, long story short, when should you start talking about your book? As soon as you're comfortable, but please do not wait until your book is completely finished. You want to bring your readers into the process. You want to bring them along the journey, and you want them to know that they are a valued member in the process because the book is for them. It's not for you, which I'll talk about on another audio. So if you have enjoyed this, please be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. If you're over on YouTube, I am trying to grow my YouTube channel. And also consider joining me for the summer sales series of master classes for authors, where we'll talk about creating raving fans for your books, how to wake up to sales, and then book marketing basics so that you don't spend all day doing your marketing. So you can join me for that by either scanning the code that is on the screen with your smart device or clicking the link in the description of this video. Thanks so much.